I'm gonna be straight with you guys. I had goals, visions. I wanted to make YouTube content for so many years before I even started. I had this vision of me not being on the camera, working in the background, in the shadows, because that's what I do best. But apparently YouTube is demonetizing so many people, forcing them to have face content, which I don't really know what's it called, but you can't really have faceless content without being a burden to the algorithm, it seems, these days. Maybe it will change, hopefully. Cross fingers on that one. But as of now, I'm gonna go through what will happen in the next video and a couple of videos moving forward due to the Enkeria challenge, which I'm challenging myself to do. And also I'm gonna go through why inauthentic content really hits hard, and it's just making my dreams burn up in flames, because I like to be working faceless behind the scenes, making things grow. Being a creator these days seems to be difficult because you are put on a different amount of challenges all the time. Makes everything so more difficult, at least to become monetized. So I talked about in my last video, I talked about pivot and all that and changing directions, because you can't really do storytelling on YouTube anymore. Not the way I wanted to do. I have these novels I wrote as a young kid. I would use my own voice, not some AI stuff, but apparently having a faceless channel is a no-go at the moment. And if you have stories to tell, it could fall into a template fold, which is not good for the AI of YouTube. It will just say, well, there's no face, there's no real human connection, there's nothing for you to learn, so why should you have monetization here? There are so many people that have been struck by this inauthentic content, so it's insane. I don't really want to bother with it. It was a goal for me to become monetized on that channel, which would be this channel, but now I'm going to change that to something else. I'm not going to read stories anymore, not original stories I wrote as a kid and then refined and then translated anymore, because I don't see any point in doing that. But I am doing is I have these two music channels, which is still going. One of them are more intense, aggressive music. The other one is a little bit more relaxed, laid back, ambient stuff. These two channels, because they are faceless, you can't really have someone speaking on top of it. That will ruin the music. So in AI's eyes of YouTube, it will deem it inauthentic content as well, because it's gonna have a template. It has a template. So like every music song has this visualizer instead that will just show bars moving around, the volume settings and all that. So really there's no point in, even if I would generate AI stuff, a music video for it, it would look inauthentic anyway. So I don't see the point in even try to become monetized on those channels. I would be demonetized directly. Now I have 4 channels. One is just laying dormant because of this change on YouTube. One is this, and 2 is music channels. And if there would be like a strike from YouTube with inauthentic content, it would just ruin my whole account and all of the channels, this one included. So I'm not gonna play that game. So the system just kicked in my teeth for being like a content creator, a creative mind. When it comes to monetization. So the only way for me to survive if I would have music channels alone would actually be selling the music, which I do through Ko-fi. So everyone that enjoys the music, they can actually buy the music. The other one would be in the future, perhaps having some t-shirts and mugs and stuff like that you could buy. And all those monies combined would probably pay for all the sound equipment I have, software and all that I put effort and money into. Then YouTube totally ignores all the energy and effort you have put into making this. Because if you don't have a face and you don't have like human connection in some way, it will just see it as something that anyone can do. It's not special. When I started YouTube, I actually wanted to make a whole lot of videos and just push them out daily, but I got this information that if you do that, YouTube will see it as spam as well, which is not the way how I handle things. It's not spam, it would be just different kinds of music every day. But I had to narrow down and release 3 tracks per week. This would be like fine if I only focused on the music channel, but now I'm going to focus on this channel as well. So I have narrowed down to 2 songs per week on each channel. So that's 4 songs per week. So already YouTube is kind of like hindering me for being creative in the way I want to be create, how I am as a creator. We will see in the future if people with music channels actually can get monetized and maybe earn something from it. But anyway, if for some reason the music channels will blow up in a way, maybe there's hope for the coffee page to actually sell some music or merch. This, however, is a channel I'm trying to get monetized on because a face, you know. So I have done some research because my challenge, the Enkeria Challenge, is me making a coloring book. So I went out and bought several books on sale on Amazon just to see what other people's have done and how it looks like. And honestly, it's insulting. So if you look at this, the paper is tissue thin. The images are clearly stolen or generated without care, and the motifs are pretty boring. So what's the blueprint? Here's what I've learned about the reality of printing through Amazon KDP to make a book that doesn't feel like garbage. The paper. I really wanted a thick paper, like the thickest I could get. But most of these books you can see here is 80 GSM paper, so it's 80 grams. It's too thin for markers. So for the Enkeria Collection Premium Edition, I'm forcing for the premium color settings just to get the 90 gram paper. It's thicker, it's white, and it feels like a better book overall.
When it comes to the amount of pages, you really need to limit yourself, sadly. The old books, they had many pages, and the new books, they have lower pages because it's glued on the backside, the spine of the book. So if you have too many pages, it won't fold as good as it should be. So the feeling of coloring would be ruined if it's too many pages. So up to 60 pages is like the limit, because with 60 pages, you have 60 images. The backside, of course, would be blank or have non-coloring area. This will really limit me with the Amazon printing service when it boils down to it, sadly.
If I could have thicker paper, I would pick that rather than maybe 120 grams. That would be nice, maybe 100. As far as I can tell, Amazon doesn't support that. So I figured I should have 2 options at least. One budget version, like a normal one, and one premium one. The price is something I have to get back to on both of them. I really do like the old paper instead of the new ones. And you can see here the thickness of each book is pretty darn different. Even though the paper are a little bit thicker, the motifs in the old ones are wide in a range, and the Disney one tells a story. On this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, very strange when I opened it, the title was missing. I also noticed all of these images have been either squeezed in one way or flattened the other way. At the bottom on every image, there are clearly something they have erased without actually fixing. So I believe this art is stolen. I don't really care about that, but my things won't be stolen. It's gonna be original content. It's gonna be original images that I have created. And also you gotta make sure that on the left side of each image, it needs to be nudged a little bit towards the right, so you can actually paint and draw over that area, because it's going to be very close to a narrow gap where the binding is of the book. So you need to think of that. Since the paper is either 80 or 90 grams, you really need to have a cardboard behind each page that you're going to color, because if you don't, it will bleed through depending on what kind of markers you're using. The resolution of each image needs to be 300 dpi or higher, but 300 should be fine. And if you look closely on this image here, it's super fuzzy. I guess they forgot to redefine and make it HD. All the details are like, I really can't explain it, but it's fuzzy. It looks horrible. Most of the art, if not all, are actually copyright protected, but they have been made based out of characters that already are copyright protected. So I don't really understand how this works. And if you look closely, there are so many details and it's so small. I have a hard time finding this interesting enough to be colored. It needs to be a balance. So yeah, research is being made. Next video is gonna be me trying to refine some old stencils, create some lines here and there, fixing it up. In the meantime, if you're curious about anything, please let me know in the comments below. But I want this to be a community thing. I want you guys to chip in. If you have any ideas and thoughts about the coloring book, feel free to just comment and let me know. We need to figure out something that works. Maybe we could have a poll or something. You can pick the best images and I can put it in the coloring book. Something like that, like community things. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I feel good about this. Also, if you want to see me do more challenges in the future, because this coloring book is gonna be a couple of videos. Also, I'm thinking of just making a monster book as well. We could make monsters together. If you have some ideas, I could just allow you to make some lore, and based on that lore, I could create the monster. We could have this like community monster building coloring book together. That would be fun. My plan for a future Enkeria challenge is making a game. I have this idea to make a game. Just ask me questions. I'm filled with answers. Like I can answer 2 of the 10 questions with these. Just ask away. I think. So until next time, which will be me fixing up some coloring things. You know what to do. Comment, like, and until next time, have a good one. Catch you all on flip side.